Howdy, howdy, howdy. You know it's NFL Sunday, and I'm Schmook. Welcome to G Cubed. We love doing this every week. Starting a little bit earlier in the stream, just because I'm ready, so might as well. But we're usually going to try to do this at 10:30 Central Time every Sunday until the football season's over. Just a little later today, I had to run some errands, blah blah blah. But as you can tell, I'm wearing sunglasses because it's football Sunday. You got to look like, hey, I'm a better. I know my shit. But anyway, I'm gonna wait a little bit before we get too into it until we can potentially have some people in here. But um, we're still growing. Of course we have M Cubed, which is our movies. Blah blah blah. And that's kicking off. I'm loving it, and I'm hoping that we get some more individuals to come by for G Cube because I think it's going to be an awesome platform once we get really rolling with it. What's up, Sci-Fi? Good to have you here. As always, I can always count on you, baby. But yeah, of course, it's in the beginning stages of G Cubed, but we can get into it if you'd like, Sci-Fi, since you're my only boy in here so far. I know Harris will be popping in here shortly. He's taking a quick shower, so we can have some comments. So Sci-Fi, real quick, are you in the you're in the UK, right? Because they're playing a game right now, or yeah, I think it's still going on. That's the Jags Bills. I don't know what the score is exactly right now, but I know Drake on his new album, he's basically dropping that the Bills are gonna win. And they're going to cover, even though they were losing last I checked. I think it was 11-7. But the cover was 5.5 as the Bills being the favorites. Yeah, I figured Sci-Fi, but I was just, trying to remember. But I still think they can still cover. I think the Bills win that game even if they're losing. But yeah, of course, it started before this game started or after this game started. So it is what it is. That's still my 2 cents. I think they're still able to cover if you are able to live bet it. But yeah, let's just get right into it, huh? We have a pretty big slate of games today. I think this video is going to be a little shorter, mainly because we have some buys. We have the Browns on bye, the Seahawks on bye, which means they're not playing this week. You should know what that means. But I'm trying to think of anyone else, but I know for sure those two teams. So, a few less games today, I believe. But trying to think about who else, but it's all good. But let's go into it, shall we? First up, we have the Titans taking on the Colts in Indianapolis. I am amped for this game because the first game where Jonathan Taylor is back, I think he's a lock to score a touchdown because he's going to be like, I'm hungry. I've been missing this, and I just got paid. So I like the Colts in this game. They're 2.5-point underdogs, but they're at home. I think they've been playing their ass off. Anthony Richardson's really good. Michael Pittman's really good, and then now you have Jonathan Taylor, where you've had the running game work without one of the best running backs in the NFL. So you would think that they're going to kick some ass on the ground, right? Because Anthony Richardson, he's a beast. He's a running quarterback. But he has a good arm. He has good instincts. So I like the Colts because the Titans overall. Yes, you have King Henry, and this could be one of those games where Derrick Henry just goes off, has like 3 touchdowns, and I wouldn't be surprised. But I like the underdog in this, and I feel that way with most of these games. I actually think this is going to be a big underdog kind of day. I only like a few of the big favorites. But anyway, so I like, no matter what, I like Jonathan Taylor to score a touchdown. That's my lock for this game. But if you're going to put a dash on anything else, might as well throw some Derrick Henry action in there. Next up, we have the Saints going to Foxborough to take on the New England Patriots. The Saints are 1.5-point underdogs. And here's the thing. The Patriots have just looked bad. Even Mac Jones got benched last week. So it's like we're probably seeing the end of the Bill Belichick era, which is crazy, right? Because he had that insane run with Brady, but now it's just it's kind of sad to see. This team's not that good. Some good players, don't get me wrong. But I just like the Saints more in this one. You have Alvin Kamara back. He's getting a lot of looks. He's still good. He's not what he was, but he's still really good. Michael Thomas is in that same boat. He's still decent. And you have Derek Carr, who's not bad either. So I like the Saints. They're 1.5 point underdog. So I would just take that money line because no team's only going to win by like. I mean, they could win, but I mean, again, 1.5 points. It's like, so just take that money line. I think it's like plus 100 or something. So might as well just put all your money in there, and there you go. So I like the Saints. Who would I like to score in this game? I like Kamara. I think Kamara is actually going to have a pretty big game. Chris Olave, I could see. He hasn't been finding the red zone, but he's been getting a ton of looks. So yeah, I just like the New Orleans Saints all around in this one. Next up, we have the Ravens taking on the Steelers. They're in Pittsburgh. The Steelers are 4.5 point favorites. Or Baltimore is 4.5 point favorites, if I said the Steelers. But yeah, the Ravens are favorited, and I just like them more. I mean, yeah, the Steelers play good at home. Mike Tomlin is very well. He's a great coach within division. He usually does. He plays very well in these games. But the Ravens, I think, are just a better team. Lamar's kind of like an under the radar MVP candidate. I don't love their offense all around, but what was their fucking coach? Harbaugh. So Harbaugh, he's a killer coach too. Like I like the coaches within this division, even when this division's looking a little weaker than I thought it would because the Bengals are just they ain't it. So the Ravens are looking like this is their division to lose. But the Browns have been playing well too. But again, they're not playing today. But yeah, I like Baltimore. I like them to cover. I think they can win by 5 points. I think they could easily win by a touchdown. And then we have, let's see, who do I like to score in this? Oh, Harris, what's up, baby? Good to have you in here. I like, if Odell plays, I actually really like splashing Odell. Lamar, I think he's an anytime touchdown. Like, I think he's going to rush one in no matter what. Steelers, you have Pat Freiermuth out, which, again, that's another reason why I think Baltimore's going to win this game. I think he's a really good tight end. But if anyone's going to steal on if anyone's going to score on the Steelers, I don't know. I like the Pickens connection. He's gonna have to go off if they want a chance to win this game. Najee Harris has been stuffed. He has not been looking good at all, so I don't like betting on him to score. Of course, I say that he's probably gonna score like 2 touchdowns, right? It's just how it goes. But yeah, I like for this game, I like George Pickens. I think he's a beast. He's a highlight reel type of player. He's not gonna have like your great games all the time, but he can make phenomenal catches and he'll just kick some ass, So I like him, and I like Lamar Jackson to score. Next up, we have Houston Texans, who I've been loving. Guys. I think I said last week that they would win, and they did. They're playing the Falcons, who are 2.5 point favorites. But again, I like the underdogs today. So far, we've had all the underdogs besides the Ravens. Harris, my boy. Who you repping, baby? Who you repping in there?
This is an old Ed Reed jersey. It's like super old. He only played for like 2 years. I just have it.
Fuck yeah, baby. Always good to have my boy Harris make a nice little guest appearance there. But yeah, I love your Texans today, man. I'm starting to become a fan, honestly. I think they've been drafting well. They have some young studs on that team. And the Falcons are in the same boat. I think they're very similar teams. I just think that I like the Texans a little bit more solely because of quarterback play. I think the Falcons overall have like better talent and a better coach. But if you don't have a quarterback who's going to lead your team to a victory, I just don't think they have that in Desmond Ridder. Where the Texans have C.J. Stroud, who's just a beast. He's been kicking ass as a rookie this year. And I like Nico Collins. He's been killing it. He's been a great young wide receiver. And then you have Damian Pierce, who I think is one of the most – he's going to be like the next Derrick Henry. Once this team starts to come around like a year or two, he's going to be a beast. I think he's still already good, but he's just a really good, just pure running back. So for this game, I was going to say Nico Collins to score, but I think he might get locked up by A.J. Terrell, who's honestly he's been playing like the best cornerback in the league. So I like Tank Dell to score quite a bit for the Texans. And then I also like Damian Pierce to get 1 rushing touchdown. But of course, Atlanta's going to score. Like Bijan Robinson is probably my lock of the week to score a touchdown. He's one of them. I think at the end of this video, I'll give like a 4-play, or I have my own personal 5-player anytime touchdown parlay. I'll give you that at the end. I think that'll be a fun thing to do. But anyway, I like Houston, and I like their spread of 2.5 points. I think they can easily win this game, so I would take their money line. So yeah, guys, I guess we can go on to the next one. All right, next up we have Carolina, the Panthers, taking on the Detroit. Can't even talk. My goodness. The Detroit Lions, who have been like honestly one of the better teams this year overall. What did you say here in the comment? Oh yeah. The Lions have been pretty badass. But their spread is 9 points. Sure, I think they could easily win by 10, but it's still a lot of points. And the Panthers have not been playing terribly. They have some good playmakers on their offense, and their defense, it's not the best. It could be a closer game than people think, you know. It's probably one of those games where I'm blanking on the head coach. Oh, Dan Campbell, who's the coach of the Lions. Might be one of those games where they didn't prep too much because they're probably looking on to next week. I don't know who they play next week, but there's probably a game they think they could win. But again, they're one of the highest scoring offenses, and their defense is good. So I can see this happening. No matter what, I know Detroit wins this game. Detroit wins this game. This would be a huge upset in my opinion, but I don't know if I love the spread, but I will say take that spread. They could easily win by 10 points. They're a killer team. But yeah, we can go on to the spread might have changed because it just got shown that Amon-Ra St. Brown is out this game, who is honestly he's becoming one of the best wide receivers within the game. So that's definitely a hit. But they're getting Jameson Williams back, who's been suspended for sports betting. Crazy. But that will fill in that role a little bit. So I don't think it's going to be a huge loss. Obviously, it'd be much better if they have him. But, you know, Sam Laporta is a kick-ass guy. David Montgomery, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be out. So David Montgomery's been a fucking monster regardless. So I could see him scoring at least 2 touchdowns today, at least rushing for like 100 yards. Because they're probably going to get up big, and then I think it's going to get up big. They're going to get up big, and they're just going to run the ball a lot. So I like David Montgomery to score no matter what in this game. For the Panthers, I like Adam Thielen, my old boy for the Vikings. He's been kicking some ass on the Panthers, honestly. He's a veteran, and like he's just a guy who has unbelievable hands within the league. And he's a good safety net for a young quarterback with Bryce Young to throw to. So I like Adam Thielen and David Montgomery the best in this game. If you want to splash on anyone else, I like Sam Laporta, who is the Lions tight end. All right, next up, we have the New York Giants. Okay. The New York Giants suck, and they're taking on the highest scoring offense in the league, the Miami Dolphins, who I think I've come to the point might be my second favorite team. I was liking the Bengals, but I just like Joe Burrow, but he's been playing hurt. But I'm a big Dolphins guy because I like Tua. Tua's the man, and I love Tyreek Hill, Jalen Wall. They just have fun playmakers on that team. You know, the Dolphins are 13-point favorites, which is a lot. But again, they're the highest scoring team in the league. They beat the Broncos by 50 points, and the Giants are easily one of the worst teams in the league. So I like it. I think the Dolphins win by 13, hands down. Now the question is who scores, because also Saquon just got a notification that he is going to be out. So again, without Saquon, like probably your best player on offense, you're not going to put up that many points, and the Dolphins can easily score 2 touchdowns on this team. So I like the Dolphins. So for the touchdowns, I like Dolphins defense to score or special teams, blah blah blah. I like that a lot. I like Tyreek Hill, and I also love. I don't love anyone on the Giants, but I love the potential of no matter what one of the running backs with Miami, where you have Mostert or you have Akane, who are both playing their asses off. They're 2 of the best running backs in the league, and they're on the same team. They've both been balling this year, so I like either of those guys. It's kind of like a flip of a coin. They both could score a touchdown because I know in the Broncos game they each had 4 fucking touchdowns. So crazy. What did you say, Quest? What are you talking about? Amazing. Amazing. Great song. Great fucking song, Quest. That's great. Um, but yeah, again, take the spread and then those players mentioned for the touchdown. This will be a fun, like a good fantasy football game for whoever. If you have anyone on the Miami Dolphins, I think it'll be a decently high scoring game. Um, so the Bengals versus the Arizona Cardinals. So they're in Arizona. The Cardinals have honestly been playing a lot better than I thought they would, and the Bengals have been playing like doo doo. And it's because I don't think Burrow's all right. I think he's having a bad he has probably a knee injury, and it's I'm just not loving it. Uh, and Jamar, you can tell the locker room is getting like pretty frustrated because they're not winning games. And you do have one of the better quarterbacks in the league, one of the best wide receivers in the league, a good coach. So it's just not coming together. This could be the game where it comes together. But based on the track record, I mean, the Bengals are 3-point favorites. And I kind of like taking the Cardinals spread. I also kind of like taking their money line because they've been playing pretty damn well. Um, so that's just what I'm going to say. Again, this is a game I kind of want to stay away from ultimately because the Bengals could be the Bengals of old, where like they're an AFC Championship team and just kick ass. But that being said, I like James Conner to score a lot in this game. I think he's a beast. With the Bengals, I think Jamar Chase finally finds the end zone because it's been needed. He's been frustrated after what he said last week. But again, I just think the Cardinals can pull this off because they've been playing well. They beat the Cowboys a few weeks back. But yeah, I just been liking the Cardinals. They're kind of a gritty little team, and I'm a big fan. All right, next up we have the Eagles taking on the LA Rams. The Eagles are 4-point favorites. They are playing in LA, which again isn't really a home field advantage for the Rams. But the Rams just got Cooper Kupp back, and the Eagles are favorites, and the Eagles have been playing well. But they're not playing the best football, in my opinion. Yes, they're 4-0. But I think they've had a lot of close games where some things have went more their way, and they just haven't looked like the team that was in the Super Bowl last year, where the Eagles last year looked absolutely ridiculous. And I don't think they're looking quite like that, but they are playing very well. But the Rams have been playing pretty well too. They're what I call an absolutely gritty team. They have some good young studs on there. My boy Kyron Williams, went to high school, be high till I die, baby. And then Puka Nacua has been an absolute beast. Epic grab for the Rams in the draft because he's a rookie and he is on pace to beat the single season reception and receiving yards record. So we'll see. But we'll see because of Cooper Kupp coming back. So we got to see how that target share is. But yeah, I like the Rams. I like the Rams to at least cover. The Eagles could win this game, no doubt. But I think it'll be a close game. It'll probably come down to a last-second field goal. Either way, so I like the spread for the Rams. But let's talk about who's going to score in this game. For the Eagles, I love A.J. Brown. He's coming off a monster week. They're going to continue that. I like DeAndre Swift, who's been looking like one of the best running backs in the league as well. For the Rams, I do like Kyron Williams to score, and I think Cooper Kupp has a pretty monstrous first game back. I don't think Puka gets in the end zone, but I still think he might have an over 100-yard receiving game. So this is gonna be a fun game. I truly have a lot of faith in this game to be very entertaining and a lot of points to be scored. All right, next up, and a game that's similar, where I feel basically the same way, where I think there's gonna be a lot of points to be scored, and I think we're gonna like our underdogs again. This is a very big underdog week so far. I truly only have 2 favorites winning. Well, 3, but regardless. We have the Vikings or the Chiefs going to US Bank Stadium in Minnesota to take on the Minnesota Vikings. And now, the Vikings are 1-3, but they're playing pretty good football. They're just turning the ball over a lot. Kirk Cousins having a pretty monstrous year. He had his worst game of the season last week, where he did not play well, and they win that game, where he's having absolutely monstrous games every other week, and they lose. So it is going to be based on which Kirk Cousins we get today, but I have a good feeling we get beast Kirk Cousins. And, I'm going to be real here, guys. Taylor Swift isn't going to go to this game. Taylor won't be there. So I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit of a script type of thing. Like the Chiefs are going to lose. And, it's going to be all over the media. It's like, oh, the Chiefs were really missing Taylor Swift today. And I'll be like, oh, my God. Hold on, I got some new. Um, I just see that happening. That's just how media is. There's obviously a very well-run organization where you want to have the headlines. Yes, that's exactly what's happening, Harris. So her not coming, I think it's gonna be like, oh, the Chiefs are favorites in this game, but Taylor's not there. So I really like the Vikings in this game because again, I think they have just as good as an offense. And if they can just stop Pat Mahomes once or twice and maybe get them to turn the ball over, I think it's game on. Um, Harris, if I was you, I would definitely get into the Chargers. I like the Chargers, but the Rams, like I feel like those games are fun. Like they have a good young team outside of Matthew Stafford. But yeah, but with this game, the Vikings, the Chiefs are 3.5 point favorites, but I think the Vikings win this game outright. So if you want to take the spread, that's fine. But if you want to make a little bit more money, go Vikings, baby. Who do I like to score in this game? I like Justin Jefferson, my main boy. He kicks so much ass. He's just almost a lock almost any given week to score a touchdown. With the Chiefs, I don't think Travis Kelce gets in the end zone because, again, Taylor's not there. So he might not play his ass off. I think I do like Isaiah Pacheco, who's the running back to score. Maybe a splash on a Jerick McKinnon. That's usually how it goes with the Chiefs. He's kind of got to pick one of those wide receivers, and they will probably score. Next up, we have the Jets taking on the Broncos in Denver. Broncos are 2.5 point favorites, and I just like the Jets. I think Zach Wilson played his ass off last week against the Chiefs, and he almost won. He played his ass off. I think he's going to take that anger into this Broncos game and kick some ass. I really like the Jets in this game. You got some young studs on the team: Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, good defense. Russell Wilson's actually been playing really well, though. I mean, that's the thing. But I just don't think Russ has enough playmakers to truly work around this Jets defense. So I think a lot of his boys are going to get pretty locked up. They have I believe their main running back is going to be out, Javonte Williams. So yeah, I just think it's a game for the Broncos to lose. Again, another underdog. I like boys and gals. Girls like football. Girls like football. But the Jets, take them. I like them to win outright. And who do I like to score in this game? I think Breece Hall actually has a pretty monstrous game. I think they're going to run the ball quite a bit, but they're also going to let Zach Wilson cook a bit. So I don't mind Garrett Wilson potentially having like a 50-yard touchdown at some point. For the Broncos, Javonte Williams is out. I like their yes, Harris, I agree. Ladies are learning to love football because of T Swift. Fair enough. It makes sense. There's a reason why the NFL is pushing it so hard because why not get the biggest celebrity on the planet in your games and bring in a whole different player base or fan base. But anyway, Broncos. I like. I think his name's Jaleel McCaughlin or I don't know his name. He's a rookie. He had a pretty good week last week when Devontae Williams went down. But yeah, take the Jets. And then next up we have Dallas taking on the 49ers. 49ers are 3.5 point favorites. Splash it. Christian McCaffrey is a beast. He's going to have at least 2 touchdowns. He had 4 last week. It's ridiculous. I also kind of like Brock Purdy to score a rushing touchdown. It's kind of becoming a theme if they're on the 1-yard line. The Cowboys, I like CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard. But the 49ers, they have one of the best defenses in the league. The Cowboys haven't really been it this year. They've been playing well. But the 49ers, I think, are bar none the best team in football. It's not even close. And, yeah, I like the 49ers in this game, guys. But that's going to do it here, guys. This has been a fun little stream, huh? So, again, it's a little shorter because there's a couple games on by, like the Chargers, the Browns, the Seahawks. But, we're having fun, guys. We're having fun. I love doing this. I love talking some sports. It's one of my favorite pastimes. But all right, guys, I'm going to catch you all very soon. Oh, actually, before I do that, let me leave you guys with an anytime touchdown scoring parlay. I like the most Bijan Robinson, Justin Jefferson, Alvin Kamara, Lamar Jackson, and Tyreek Hill. Let's ride, boys. But always good to see you guys or talk to y'all. Be on the lookout. There's going to be a video coming out tomorrow for Monday Night Football. That game is the Packers-Raiders. And to be honest, there's not going to be that much to talk about because I don't think it's going to be that good of a game. But we're going to get that to you guys really soon. All right. It's been great, guys. It's been an awesome Sunday, the best day of the week. It's football time, baby. All right. I'll catch y'all guys very soon. Bye-bye.